Hello, hi, Malini Kamalam Khanya, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Running Podcast. Today we get the 411 on the 94's as we sit down with Paul Ward, the founder of the 94 Run Crew. Cool. Hi.
Hey, how's it?
How are you?
I'm good. Cozy.
Yeah. Cozy. You look like you dress for the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Currently experiencing the first day of spring, but can't be sure with Cape Town.
No, looks like spring, but feels like winter. So yeah, that's typical Cape Town. You know, you can never be too sure what you're going to get. So
That's true. But I also feel like it's a runner thing where people are just swaggy in general.
Okay.
The drip is just always on point.
I hope so. I mean, I guess that's a new runners thing because it didn't used to be like that like a long time ago. It was the opposite,
guess.
you know.
It's true. I guess it's part of the whole crew culture thing. If you're part of a crew, it's also the whole drip thing.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to look the part to be as cool as your crew.
Yeah, exactly. I think culture's affected, or running and culture and have mixed and merged over the last few years, and now it's like fashion. I mean, if you look at the new shoes and stuff, fashion is running, and the fastest shoes are the most fashionable, and
the most colorful.
yeah.
And your whole fit needs to just look the same. It
Yeah.
needs to match the shoes.
Has to be very considered at very least.
I feel like it's less about the running, more about the aesthetics these days.
I think it's both. If at least you have a bad run, you have to look good. You know, you can't control how the run goes, but you can control how you look. So yeah,
That's true. And if you look good, you feel good.
yeah.
So hopefully your run will be
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe.
At least the photos will look good. No one knows. No one knows how the run went as long as the photos are good.
That is so true, especially the blurry ones.
Yeah.
Then you really can't tell if it was good or not.
Then you can't see the fit either, so you have to be careful.
But I mean, if you dress accordingly, it could just, if it's like all black with like bright shoes, I think it could work.
Well, let's see. This is October 15th. We'll see what the combos are doing. But no, it's going to be good. We've definitely been, working on a nice marathon fit. So let's see how it goes.
I'm ready. So I'm stoked to actually have you here today. Not many, well, I don't know. Everyone knows who 94 is. I kind of know who you guys are. I recently hung out with you guys at Gun Run at your guys' little cheer squad or cheer zone.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That was actually the first time I think meeting some of you guys and hanging out with you guys. So I think this is mainly more for me.
Cool.
About like, if you can just maybe share about who you guys are, what you guys all about.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess we're a run crew, which is what we all are. But I mean, when we started, no one knew what a run crew was. I mean, and I think even the run crew is also like a developing thing. It was something different like 10 years ago when we started to what it is now. You know, now it's sort of a part of everyday running. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone has a connection to one. But back then it was, there was like nothing in South Africa like this. I mean, I think us and the Bromfree runners sort of started at the same time. The Bromfree were more like a brand crew, and we were just. But how it started for us is I was in Berlin and I was taking photos. I was a photographer back then, and then there's like sort of my boss, the guy that hired me, was like head of marketing at this fashion trade show, like a very cool guy. Like we talk about drip and stuff, everything like that, and the opposite to what you would have thought a runner was back then. And he asked me to come take some portraits of like these, like his run crew, which I thought was very weird because like runners weren't drippy back then. And I was like, and then when I did, and then I saw it was all like people like me, like into stuff I was into, streetwear.
Yeah.
I don't know, listened to hip hop, and it was like it turned running on its head, and I'd like met such interesting people through that. I couldn't really run then. I tried to run with them, but didn't work out. But anyway, then I came back to South Africa, like after that summer sort of break, and there was nothing like that here.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2012, the first experience with the Berlin Braves. Okay. I mean, they actually got their big thing this weekend. It's Berlin Marathon this weekend. Kipchoge's going to hopefully break the world record. But
let's go.
We'll get to that. But I think it was 2012 when I first met them. And then I came back and there was nothing really happening here. And then I think it was only the next year, like 2013, where I saw them again. I was sort of a photographer, and I could go there for season for summer and take photos. And then I like really saw it the next season. I was there for a bit longer. And then when I came back, I was like, yo, I think I was actually ran with him a bit then. And then came back and I was like, wow, we have to do something like this. Because I was I had all these people that I was partying with and hanging out with. I was 10 years younger then and partying a lot. I was
Berlin's a good time.
Yeah. And even Cape Town, I was just like, I was a street photographer, a nightlife photographer back then. And met a lot of interesting people through it, but like would only hang out at night and would generally not be like the most focused when we hanged out and stuff. And then I saw like running you could do the same thing, because back then, especially, it was about partying and running. It wasn't like not partying to get a better time. It was like running became a part of your lifestyle rather than like taking over your life. And I think that was like the shift. And then I started the 94 in 2013 technically, but formally 2014. And yeah, it was just like a couple of us, like people that I sort of knew from the streets, like streetwear guys. I mean, there were like some really like iconic Cape Town personalities that we all just formed together and started running. But it wasn't what it is now. Like it was just like 5 or 6 of us running, and there was no one else interesting running at the time. No one else you'd want to like sort of talk to. It was just us doing our thing.
Running wasn't cool back then.
No.
Because I moved here like 10 years ago. And even then, I was just like, no. I mean, you get like your odd 1 or like 2 people like running in the street, but it wasn't like a thing what it is now. Yeah,
I mean, I think in Cape Town's always had a big running culture, but it's been that like traditional running culture. You run with your clubs, you wear your thing. It was like, and it wasn't something interesting for 95% of society.
Yeah.
So because we've always had big running culture, but it's like very different to crew running. Like the culture now is like, it's exciting and it's vibrant, and back then it wasn't. It was like formal, and so there was no one like us back then. And yeah, it just slowly developed from that, like 10 years ago, and sort of building these tight friendships through running.
So you said you didn't really run when you joined the Berlin Braves. So like, when did that start? I mean, from that and like starting the 94 run crew.
Yeah, I mean, when we started the 94, we were running like 5Ks, sort of still drunk, and it wasn't serious. It wasn't like we didn't know anything about running. We didn't have a coach. We just ran and then got it done, and then we could start again. So it was, so I don't really know where my journey started, my personal journey. I mean, obviously when you run, it gets boring running just like the same 5Ks. So you can only do it so long. So then you end up doing 10Ks, and then next thing you're doing 21Ks. And I think a lot of it was exciting was the stuff happening overseas, like with the Braves and Pata and Amsterdam. And so we made like a big push, and my big push was like I wanted everyone to experience that, everyone from my crew. So I was like, every year we'd try to get a crew of us to go to one of the races overseas. So we've done like, every year we'd do one big international tour, which seems crazy, but
that's
like now.
Sick.
But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of people's first time ever traveling, like hustling visas for people, and that's the big thing about crew culture. It's like there's all these payoff lines, but it's like have what passport will travel and all that stuff. But it's like that was the mentality. If you can get into the city, if you can get there, then the crews there will hook you up. They'll look after you. They'll sleep on a couch. You'll sleep on the floor. You didn't have to like worry about anything. You just had to get there. If you got there for like Berlin Marathon, Berlin Half, Homies Half, you were sorted. You knew you were going to have the best week of your life. So it was just about getting people to experience this sort of, hospitality and just openness. You had to get to the city, but then it was sort of this like exchange that if you got to the city, they'd look after you. And if they came to your city, you'd look after them.
Yeah.
And like, obviously Europe is very different because it's like a €50 train trip to go from Amsterdam to Berlin or to Paris. So it's like people are just, they're coming. It's like hundreds of people from Paris coming to Berlin for the weekend, and then they're going to Amsterdam 3 months later for that race. So it's like there was this big, tight like community. And when you're not paying for accommodation, you're just sleeping on couches and you're just like hustling. That was the vibe. And I made sure the first few years that I tried to get our crew there as much as we can, just to experience this connectivity, basically. I guess
they must have created such like a cool bond between you and the crew. and like how you guys also, you definitely got to know each other super well. Because
Yeah.
you get to know someone when you travel with them.
When you travel
that
with
far.
someone, it's like a change. Any tour, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially a lot of us, I guess you know this from, if you're like big into sports, like tours bond people, but most of the people in our crew never come from like a school sporting background or anything like that.
Yeah.
Sport's not really part of your identity back then. So it was like, traveling with people, sharing, sharing bathrooms, being on trains for hours
That's
together.
how you really get to know someone.
No, I mean, it's like, and that was the beauty of it. Even we did like some Joburg tours, like we do for actually like generally this weekend. I think it is. Well, it was this past weekend. It was always Heritage Day. There was like a Joburg 10K. And that was also big, and we'd go there for a weekend. And it was like a big like bonding moment between us. I think you just that excitement of getting on a plane together. You have to share a room with someone or something, and you just like, you bond. And I think like our crew's always been about having strange people together, like that you would never expect. And I think in Cape Town specifically, it's like you sort of grow up. If you grow up in Cape Town, you grow up in your little clique, and you like have your, I don't know, Rondebosch clique, and you stay in Rondebosch, and you go to UCT with them, and it's like, it's nice, it's comfortable. Cape Town's small, you stay with that. It's quite hard to sort of meet people that are completely out of your world and out of your circle and stuff. And one thing that was important with the 94 was like I just wanted to have like individuals from all different like walks of life, religions, backgrounds. Like we had like, I think at one stage our youngest guy was 16 and our oldest lady or guy was like 42. It was like, from age,
Big
from
range.
race to everything. It was just, and they were always like try to have people come alone, like not three people. So if you're an individual and you join a group, you have to like connect with people. It's not like you have the safety of your buddy thing. So it was like,
That's true.
I was just trying to connect these strange people and affect each other, which was harder to do in Cape Town, I feel, in some way.
Yeah.
That was one of the main sort of things, like try and connect these like strange people. When people saw us, they're like, why are you guys together? Like what connects you? And then you tell them it's running, and that's even stranger. It's like, why do you guys run?
That's so true. But like, I love how it's translated into what you guys have now, and kind of just looking from the outside and seeing how you guys bond and get along. You can definitely tell like you guys have been through quite a lot together and you've grown together and you guys have really gotten to know each other. And I guess through those tours that you guys have been doing, which is really cool. And I think that's also such a rare thing to find. I mean, I guess it's subjective, I don't know. But for me personally, it's so rare to see certain crews gel so well. And especially like, well, not gel. I think most crews gel well, but in terms of like having that kind of relationship where people go away together and they get to know each other and form a different kind of bond than any usual crew would form. Like people can get along. Like meet someone for the first time, you can get along. But that's also just like Cape Town, really. Sometimes you get along with people, sometimes you don't. But it's I just like how it translates into the 94, and you can definitely see that. Like it's like you guys live in your own little world. You just don't care about anything, really, which is cool.
I think like a big thing is that we're small.
Yeah.
We like probably say we're the oldest crew or one of the oldest crews, but we're still the same size. Like the beginning was like 5 of us, but since maybe 3 years in, we get to like 20 people, and obviously people always want to join, or sort of like it would be an urge to like make it bigger. And my thing was always to keep it as small as possible. Not, and it's probably come up. I know from the outside, like a lot of people thought it was like, I don't know, egotistical to keep it small.
Yeah.
But it was actually the opposite. It's actually like how I just want these 10 or 15 or 20 people to be as like tightly connected as possible. Like if something goes down with anyone in the crew, I want them to know about it. I want them to be a safe space that you can talk about it. And if you have more people and you become
reluctant to share.
Yeah, you don't know. Like if I come to a thing and there's, I don't know, like 30% of the people like on that deep level, I'm not going to say that. And I wanted to have the space that like, cool. Because running, it's also a space to release. It releases emotions. It does all these things. And it's obviously later on in our journey. But one thing that was important, and I think I was lucky that I could see from sort of the other crews internationally that had been around for longer, each crew had sort of gone their own path. Some crews became really big and very performance. Some crews stayed small. Some crews just became big community crews, and they all have validity. They're all cool. They're all getting people running at the end of the day, which is what we want. But I think for me, I was like, cool, what are the crews that I aspire to? And there was these small crews that were really, close together.
Yeah.
It wasn't about getting bigger in numbers, but maybe bigger in like impact. Let's rather inspire other people to start crews, or inspire other people to start running, even if you can't run with us, because we're not going to be 50 people, because it's going to change what's special about this, but other things will branch off. And I mean, obviously it's not just us, but I think we have been sort of pivotal in like, now look how beautiful crew culture is in Cape Town now. It's like these massive crews, and there's like anyone in Cape Town that wants to run, there's a crew for you that has your sort of vibe or your energy. And
spoiled for choice.
It's beautiful now.
And
I just never wanted to be like this big massive crew. I wanted to be a small tight crew, and some of the people have been there for like 8 years. I mean, if you think how much of a person how much you change as a person over 8 years, you could get kids, you could like go through different, like you're a different human to still be part of
seeing the growth.
And to still be part of the same running crew 8 years later is like, wow, that means so I think that's something special, that they have this like longevity of members. Obviously members come and go and people change,
100%.
but we've got like this foundation of like at least half the crew have been there for so long, and that's why it feels like tight. And I think once people come in, they like feel a little bit weird at the beginning, because it's like in this tight family. But in a few months, if you just keep running with us and hanging out, then you're part of that family, and then you like you get the power of the.
Have you guys like now kind of made, I guess, the circle a bit bigger in terms of like allowing more people in, or are you still keeping it small?
I think we're still keeping it small in mindset, but it is growing a little bit. I mean, not really like much bigger, but a few years ago, I wanted to start sort of create a different way, because also I'm quite like hardcore in terms of, if you join the crew, you have to come like every week. You have to. It's like no one pays anything. Like you get given a lot of stuff, but there is an exchange, and the exchange is your time and your energy. You have to show up, 100%. And that's not for a lot of people. It's like to commit to doing something once, twice a week, and being there day in or week in and week out. But I did want to try and create a way that you could be a part of it, get a taste of it without having to have that big commitment. And I think that's why we got almost have like an inner circle and a slightly bigger circle now, which is not as intimate and not as, you don't need to be as dedicated, but we're trying to, so we have this ladies night program, which like every winter we run for 3 months, and that forms like its own little 9-4 community. That's not the same. It's not the same like intensity to some degree, but you get to see it, and it gets people, and then hopefully people, like some people from that will want to commit to 2 or 3 runs a week and be there for everyone and come cheer and come.
That's also another thing about Cape Town. Everyone's good at committing. People are quite flaky. I think I can say that because I'm not from here, so I've definitely seen it. And it's so weird. Like you so quickly fall into that. The thing of like not being able to show up and being flaky, literally like last minute, like actually no, this is not for me. I think it's with running, I've learned so much about showing up, because you're not showing up for the people, you're also showing up for yourself. And it's also, if you really want this, like you will show up and you will do what you need to do. So that's actually really cool
that's the beauty of running though, is that what you just said, that thing, showing up for yourself. And I think that like, I have like a love-hate relationship with running in general.
Don't we all?
I mean, I'm not a runner at all. Like, then nothing makes sense for me to run. But this thing that it's
what does that even mean?
I'm too big. It's not like I'm good at other sports. But like long distance running is probably one of the hardest things for like my body to do.
I saw something this morning on Instagram where this dude posted, and he's a big dude, like rugby built dude, tall, and someone literally chirped him, "Hey, I bet you with your body weight you'll never be able to do the marathon," and he completed it sub 4.
No, exactly.
So
but that's the challenge. It's hard, but you do it and you show up for yourself and you prove yourself you can do it. If I was like, I don't know, 55 kilos and skinny and a born runner, running would be like a different thing to me. For me, it's
Kipchoge.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, this thing about running and crew running is and this is what I realized quite soon, is no one can run for you, but you can, and no one can show up for you, but you can create an environment that makes showing up for yourself more inviting or more exciting.
100%.
You have to do the work as an individual, but if you can create the culture that makes that, and then people start like showing up for themselves and improving themselves and realizing, oh wow, I'm doing this. The crew is sort of facilitating it, but you're doing it, and you
Yeah.
start expecting more from yourself, and
That's
that's
the
the growth,
exciting
you know.
part as well.
Exactly.
Someone asked me like, how do I keep running exciting? And I was like, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Because running is boring.
It's so boring.
But when you run with someone, it kind of creates like some sort of like excitement, because also you're running with someone that you want to run with and you generally get along with. And if you run different routes, there's always something new to see, something fresh and exciting.
Yeah.
So it's just like, for me, I'm just like, I just make it interesting for myself. I just change it up for myself and I do the same thing over and over. So doing things over and over, it gets very boring.
Oh, I mean, running in general is not exciting as it's for its foundations, you know?
That's true.
I mean, obviously, running now is exciting, and there's community track club and all these other forms of
Yeah.
running, which is like, it feels like you're not running anymore, you're doing something else. But
100%.
in general, you have to mix it up to keep it fresh. And actually, like the OG crew on the world is like the Bridge Runners. They started like 20 years ago, and they never like have a route. They don't even know, like, they don't even tell you where you're going. You rock up, and they tell, like, if you're a New Yorker, they tell you if you must bring like the train pass or not, which bridge they're gonna. But they just run, and they say it'll be 8 miles or 10 miles or whatever they're gonna do. And they just run and they just explore, and there's no like, this is the route we're doing today. The leader, Mike or whatever, or Cedric, they don't even, they just run wherever they feel. They'll get you back there in your time, but it's like, that keeps it fresh, that keeps it exciting.
I mean,
know?
would you know like the distance?
Yeah, they'll keep it like to 10 miles. And obviously
Okay.
they know the city so well, and like
Yeah.
New York is very different to Cape Town. Cape
also
Town is
nice.
like, yeah, exactly. You can go on any bridge and it's a new route. But like, I love that about them. It's like always fresh, and they like been running for 20 years now or
That's
something, you know. So I
cool.
think that freshness, and in whichever way you do it, keeping
Yeah.
running exciting.
That's really cool.
yeah.
I would definitely do that. I mean, no offense to the people who love the prom. I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. We've done it so often.
Oh man.
I mean, it's great. Like, it's beautiful. For running, I can't.
Yeah, it's beautiful because it's flat and everything else is got hills, and it's nice to see the sea, but like, it has to be part of your running thing. It can't be your whole running thing. Like,
Exactly.
you know, if it's just different distances on the prom, it just becomes
No, thank you.
no matter how beautiful it is and how beautiful the sunsets are and
No.
the beautiful sunrise this morning, it's still
No.
you have to mix it up. Run through the
Exactly.
city, run through the mountains, do what you have to do.
Yeah. Do you guys have like specific routes that you guys run, or is it also like one of those New York style you just go?
We have like directions we head off to, I guess. So we just, we've always been based in sort of, for the last 8 years in town, like in the center
Yeah.
of town. And it's like, we know we can go like up towards the mountain. There's Molteno and Company Gardens. We can do a waterfront that'll take us to prom that's maybe faster and flatter, or we can do just the inner city, and there's like a couple loops in the city. So we have
Yeah.
like general things, but not, I wouldn't say it's like, this is the route, you turn left here, right here, left there. It's like, how can we get to Molteno? Okay, we know we have to do hill sprints. Let's be creative for 25 minutes, get to Molteno, and then do our work and go home, you know.
That's fair.
Things like that, yeah.
Okay. That's really cool.
But the city, I think, is like underrated. It's like, because Cape Town, we don't really have like walking culture, I guess, in South Africa. There's no like walking culture, so
Yeah, no.
you don't experience the city like that. So being able to run like in a group through
Yeah.
the city at night or something, it's like, it gives you a whole different like perspective of the city. So we really love like
That's so
city
true.
running, especially at night when it's a bit quieter and it's like, I don't know, like some shops are closing, the clubs are opening, and you're just like running through. It's like you see, it's like a whole different side of the city.
It is, literally. I went for, I was telling someone I was going for a run. We had like a long run on a Saturday, run about like 6:30, 7:45. And as I was driving through Long Street, it's just like super packed.
Yeah.
People are still jolting hard. I'm on my way to my run.
Yeah,
People haven't
it's
even
wild.
gone home yet. And I'm like, this is so crazy.
Yeah, there's that like, I don't know, Instagram thing. It's like the 6 a.m. is when the thing
shift
the
is-
swaps over. And it's like the people walking home and the people starting to start their run. Yeah, it is
That's so
wild.
true.
But yeah, I mean, I've been on both sides. I've been the guy that was getting home at 5, and now I'm the guy waking up
too.
at 5. So it's
Fair enough.
nice to see both sides of the coin, I guess.
Yeah, no, I work in the film and TV industry. So sometimes you have like crazy call times, like, you know, Hoppers 4 in the morning, and then you see the people literally walking home.
Yeah.
Leaving. I'm trying to catch an Uber. I can't catch an Uber because it's
peak hour.
Peak hour, exactly.
4 in the morning.
Exactly. And I'm just like, I'm so confused. I need to get to work. I can't get an Uber. But I mean, it's cool and interesting to see that kind of like swap over, I guess, like what you were saying.
Yeah.
Of the night shift, they're going home.
Yeah.
And the morning shift is entering.
Two sides of the city. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, it's definitely a eye opener when they intertwine.
It's very interesting. So I live also like in the middle of the city, and it's probably, and I always say I need to move, but I also love it at the same time. But I mean, not at 3 o'clock in the morning when people are coming from like a long street, yelling down the street. They drunk, arguing, and like singing. And I'm just like, I need to wake up at 4.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I used to live in off Harrington Street in like the East City, and there was like assembly like big in those days. And as I say, I was a party photographer, so it was beautiful for a long time. And then when I did start running more and having like races, and I was like, why? I can still hear the bass thumping. I'm like, okay, I have to get up now. Yeah. So it's
so when you realize sleep is an important factor.
Oh yeah. I definitely messed that up in my 20s, but I'm trying to catch it up. A little bit late.
Nah, it's never too late. It's never too late. I always try to catch up on sleep with afternoon naps. Okay. I think that's always a good
Yeah. No, nap life is good if you can get it right. Yeah.
That's true. Oh man. So what are some of the, I mean, you guys have been around for like 10 years. What have been some of the best moments of 94 that you've got to experience?
Yeah, I mean, sure. So many, obviously, but so like when we were just starting, like we were 1 year old, I think. Yeah, 2014. Actually, our first year, I guess, 2014 in December, with the Berlin Braves. Basically, more from the Berlin Braves, but we like wanted to try and show off like this crew culture thing. I became good friends with the Berlin Braves captain Joey, and then we did like a Bridge the Gap, which is what this whole movement was originally called, and we did one in Johannesburg with like the Bromfee Runners and Thesis, and we brought down like Edson from Pato, we brought down Charlie Dark from Rundem, and we had like a little Bridge the Gap. It was like small because they weren't really, it was just Bromfee, Thesis, and us, I think, from South Africa, and then we brought these captains from other crews, and I think to be in the first year and to have this whole thing, because back then, like Nike basically sponsored all the crews. It was like, and they funded it from like European side, and they sort of, and I did feel like that like injected it. That was like really, really special, like to do it such a long time ago. And then, I mean, I think every week, 2 Oceans week, we do like this thing called Bridge the Oceans, which is our little Bridge the Gap, where we sort of host anyone that's in town hits us up and we host them, and we throw in like some cool after parties and stuff.
That was a massive after party, the last one.
Yeah, I mean we've done some bigger ones, but I think those Bridge the Gaps, like, or our Bridge the Oceans, because we don't really run that much for 2 Oceans. Like, it was, especially back in the day, it was hard to get an entry and stuff. So the role was like really to host and to like, and as like I said at the beginning or earlier, is like this exchange of like, cool, when you're in our city, we host that weekend is our hosting, but that means like when we go to Amsterdam, we get hosted there. So I think like those are special when you sort of giving of your time, and everyone's like, because that's again creates this tightness. We're making posters until like 2 in the morning in like my garage or something back in the day, and it's like those are like special moments. And like seeing people do things for the first time, traveling for the first time, getting to go overseas because of like a running crew. And I mean, I'm been very fortunate. I have traveled a lot for work and stuff. I have to travel a lot, which is amazing, and it's definitely expanded my life and made my life bigger. So that running has allowed that for some people, and that the 94 could facilitate people like going to Europe for the first time. Or we did a crazy, I mean, travel was much cheaper back then since pre-COVID, but we did this one thing where we ran 4 10Ks in like 2 weeks. It started in Joburg, then there was another one in Turkey 2 weeks later. So we went to Joburg, we ran 10K, like I think it was like 10 of us, and then we went to Amsterdam. No, it was 1 week apart. It was a Sunday and a Sunday. So we did Joburg on the Sunday, flew to Amsterdam, ran with Pata as a training run,
Oh my
took a
gosh.
train to Berlin, ran with the Berlin Braves as a training run, and then flew to Turkey to finish this week of like 10Ks. I mean, yeah,
How's your body feeling? All
No, but I
those
mean-
flights and traveling, and then you're still running.
but we're not running like now everyone's serious about running at a good time. We were just like finishing the race, get the medal, get the beer. You know, this was like a different time. Now it's like, yeah. Now,
Everyone's just super competitive now.
now we're trying to, you're trying to
Everyone's
get
trying to do
times
one
and-
up, and yeah, I see that's where it loses me slightly, and also where it loses the excitement for me is when everyone gets super competitive with like numbers, and I'm just like, can't we just enjoy it?
Yeah,
Can't we just run to enjoy it and then have a beer afterwards?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think there's validity to both, but like at least for the first few years, don't worry about numbers. Just have fun and meet new people. You know, sure.
100%.
If you've been running for like, I don't know, 8 years, you're gonna like, can I get a little bit better? It might be nicer. And like,
Just a little.
yeah, like last year we had 8 people of our crew, which is like a third of our crew running a marathon. Before that, we had like 1 person running a marathon. The last year was massive. We had 8, and I was like, this is a bit weird. Like, why are so many people running like a marathon? Like we were never about. And now we have 16 running Cape Town
wow.
Marathon, which is like more than half our crew. We don't even have anyone to cheer. It's like it's a bit of a problem. Like
Empty cheer zone.
yeah, it's like we have to have friends and family, and luckily we have ladies' night to like these new girls that have got more fierce than ever. So,
Brilliant.
but yeah, I think eventually you do start to get a bit more like serious or focused, but
Yeah.
that should never be the like priority. And I think like one race a year you focus for, the other 10 months
to
you
have
just
fun.
enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
agree. You doing Cape Town Marathon?
Yeah. I'm doing it. Like every time you say it, you're like, yes, I am. Now I've said it on a formal channel. I can't really back
Can't
down.
take that back. That's how I got into it. I might have mentioned it, and then somehow someone was just like, "Okay, cool, you're doing it."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no.
that's how they get you. But yeah, no, I'm doing it. Yeah.
This is not your first one.
No, I did. I did last year's one, but I said earlier, it was the worst few hours of my life. Not just the running, or just in general. I've never been. I traveled. I was overseas and traveling for like. I trained so well like the whole year basically to try and do a marathon, and then maybe 2 months before the marathon, I was in the best like shape of my life. I ran like the fastest 30K, and I was like, this is going to be easy. But then I had to travel for like 6 or 7 weeks for work. And I got back the week before the marathon, and it was like, wow. Yeah.
Everything
And then,
came crumbling down.
yeah, and I think I burned out at like 20. I just try to keep to this pace. You see, this is stupid. I had a time in my head that I was going for, that I should have just enjoyed it. But yeah, and then I was cramping from 25Ks, and then walking through the checkpoint, like basically crying. We were supposed to be celebrating. I was like, just give me deep heat. And then, yeah, but there was a moment of growth, or a few hours of growth. I think it took us, me and my friend Menzi, we took it, I think it was the last 3Ks, took about 46 minutes, because we were literally crawling at some points. Like everything was cramped. I've never seen or felt running like that. You hear about these like terrible runs, and I was like, I mean,
It'll never
Yeah.
be me.
Yeah.
Never. I'm at my peak.
yeah, exactly. So I will not ever let that happen to me again, and I will rather just let my ego go and slow down,
Yeah.
and just rather
Was that
enjoy
the
it.
longest distance you've run before? Like ever?
So I'd run one marathon before that, but it was my first ever marathon, and I just did it, and it was fine, and it was easy. I trained, and I wasn't going for time though. I was actually, so it didn't
Got
matter.
you.
But this, like running a marathon, going for a time, when you sort of like pushing your body to be at its peak, that's when stuff can go wrong. If you just go
Yeah.
slowly, I mean, anyone can sort of do it if you don't mind stopping and walking, and you just take
Yeah.
your time. Then
There's
you can.
no shame in walking.
Yeah, I think
That's what I keep telling myself.
it's your first marathon, like my first marathon. I was very motivated to have a good run, but I had no
Yeah.
time, wasn't looking at the clock, didn't care. But I just wanted to have a good run,
Yeah.
That's what Kipchoge says. He always says, I'm going to have a very good run. If something else comes from it, if I get to break the world records, I'll be appreciative, is what he says. And now I'm like trying to have that energy, like
Sub 2.
first thing, yeah, sub 6.
That's the aim.
yeah, just so yeah, I think that was like the difference. The first marathon I just wanted to enjoy it, and then the second I was going for time, and I was looking at my watch, and then my heart rate was up, and I was like, didn't enjoy it. I burnt out. It was terrible. So now
Yeah.
But I think good life lessons. I think, again, you learn through running, you learn through pain. So I'm excited for this year's marathon.
What's the game plan this year?
I've still got this mentality. I'm like not sticking to a time or thinking about a time.
Good.
I'm just trying to get fitter and stronger. And sure, I'll have some sort of time in my head when I rock up on the line. But I think I'll have I actually heard this from, I think it was one of the Pata guys, have sort of 3 goals in your head. First goal is to finish the race. Then it's maybe a time if things are feeling good, and then a time if you're feeling bad. And all of those are great,
Yeah.
So it's as long as you finish, you still achieved one of your goals,
true.
you're happy. But yeah, I think for me, just finish this one and have a good run. I want to go as fast as I can, but I don't know what that would be.
For every person who runs the marathon, there has to be a why.
No
one just wakes up and decides, hey, I'm going to run the marathon for fun.
Yeah.
No.
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 Yeah, I think having that why is the most important thing. And even you need it just to get through training, not even just on the day. I think.
Yeah.
So for me also, I had when I started, I would never run a marathon until beginning of 2020. And 2019, I had some quite hectic stuff happen in my life. And I was I just stopped working for a bit and I trained for the marathon. And it was quite a hardcore thing, just to have a positive focus and something else to focus on besides this other stuff that was happening in my life. And that was definitely my why. And that's the marathon that went so well. And then, my second marathon, maybe I lost, I had a why, but maybe my why was too much on the speed and other things and not on a true why, which I think is, if you have a deeper why, a deeper reason for running, which I have quite I've quite deep connection to why I run, things that have happened in my life and stuff. And I think a lot of people do that. That's the only reason we put ourselves through this pain and stuff. Besides the beautiful community, I think on an individual level, you work through a lot of stuff,
It has this beautiful ability to change someone's life. I mean, I never thought running would ever do that for me. Running.
Yeah, I know.
Blows my mind. I'm just what?
Yeah.
But 3 years ago, if you had met me, running was never a thing. And I think in those 3 years, my life has changed so much. And even for me, running for personal reasons and seeing the growth from that. And it's just it's crazy that running has that ability to literally change your life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's very special, running. I think a lot of it also, what I love about it is this, and also why I think it was so important to start the 94 and specifically in South Africa is there's no or very little barrier to entry. Cycling, you have to have a bike, team sports, you have to have a field, and this is okay, obviously you want the nice shoes or the carbon plate, all that stuff now, but fundamentally it's just you just go and you just move your legs, one foot left, right, and you do it.
It's the easiest to get into.
Yeah, you just have to do it and keep doing it and just keep showing up for yourself. There's you take all the other stuff away. It's just moving the body and there's something really the simplicity and that's and that's why it's really hard. Because you have to do it. You can't, there's no machine you can't hide behind a team
That's
or
true.
you can't
It's easy and hard. I would say. It's easy in the sense where you don't need all the extra stuff like you're saying to start running. You just need shoes and just you go. But then it becomes hard when you start pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when you start setting goals.
Yeah.
And then that really takes a toll on your body.
Especially a marathon. I mean, a marathon, well, actually, no, it's always when you haven't run a 10K, your 10K is your marathon, But
True.
I think, so you're always trying to go for something, even if it's not fast. What the beautiful thing about running is we're all terrible compared to Kipchoge, It's no one is good. I don't care how good you are. Okay, maybe there's Carla who runs, she's also a professional athlete. But besides the professional athletes, we all suck, let's be honest, which is good. So you should just release your ego and just focus on bettering yourself, not comparing yourself to...
Unless you're better than them, then.
But no one's better than Kipchoge or those elites, So I think
that's true.
It's we're all terrible, and it's just about being the best version of ourselves.
Yeah.
Getting better and seeing that improvement, whether it's your first 5K or your fastest 5K. I think that's the beauty of it. Sure, you want to be in the surroundings that make that fun and interesting, but if you see progress in running or on your watch and you see you're
Yeah.
getting faster, then like, oh, maybe I can be better at other things in my life too.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember my first 1K. Terrible. I hated it. I was like, when is this gonna be over? And especially if you're not really a runner and you run 1K, you're just like, that's actually far.
It's so far.
And then once you hit your 1K and then you kind of progress and you're just like, your 5K, that's like a marathon. Like that's a distance I'll never be able to reach. But once you reach that, and you just like, it's the same thing again, the same cycle of like your 10K is just like, no, it's like 100 miler.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way I'll ever get to 10Ks. And I remember running my first 10K race. I was just like, what the hell did I just do?
Exactly.
Like, this is insane. I didn't know my body could do this. And it's so crazy, like, how running has literally pushed so many of my limits, like, in terms of physically. Like, I'm not built like a runner at all. And, like what you were saying, like, all the odds are, like, against me in terms of being a runner. And just being able to see my body push through those and, like, literally break through all those barriers, I'm just like, wow.
No, what can't I do? Like, I can do anything now. You know, it gives you that power. And it's because you showed up for yourself in training for that race for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, you know, and you're like, sure, and then you saw the progress and you achieved something you didn't think was possible. And then,
but it's also all in the mind.
Yeah.
It's what you tell yourself.
Yeah, changing that narrative. I mean, I saw it with this ladies' night thing, which is often, it's like girls that starting running, but what I realized is I did come from like quite a sporty school and stuff, so I had sport in my culture, but a lot of them had never identified as a sporty human, you know, and like they didn't grow up playing sport, these females, and now they're starting to like experience this progress for like really the first time, where maybe if you've seen it, if you're a sporty student, you sort of experienced this a little bit, but some of these girls, like even my girlfriend, she was doing her first 10K and then became her first half as well, and it was just like, she never, I think, identified as someone that could do sport and push herself physically, and she just like changed that narrative in her head. Like you said, it's like what you're talking about in your head, and just to see that power, and no one can do that for you.
100%.
Yeah, so
it's definitely also when you want something.
Yeah.
When you want something, you'll work so hard towards it, and you will be able to have that shift, I guess, in your head. To be able to, and literally start speaking things positively, like over yourself, be like, hey, I can do this. You know, I've got this. I have like this, so obviously been training for the marathon, and on my my nutrition pack, on my bottles, I've written like little notes for myself.
Okay, nice.
And also my bananas, I always put like a little message on my bananas. So when I feel, I take it out and I read, I'm like, okay, cool, it's a cool little motivation. Gotta keep going, I'm almost there. So it's like those little motivations like that you keep like speaking over yourself and just reminding yourself of like, hey, I actually can do this and I can push. Because as much as like the mind is so powerful, you can literally talk yourself out of anything and talk yourself into something.
I mean, I've always been a strong believer in that. Like before running, like when I was in high school, I had like quotes in my favorite quote is it's Muhammad Ali quote, and it's like, I told myself I was the greatest even before I knew I was, and it's like it's like that whole thing. I think with running, I also do the same. I mean, my personal slogan is, can I swear? I don't know. Yeah.
Mike has been on.
Yeah, okay. But like just fucking believe is like my thing, and I have it like printed on that first marathon. We obviously have 94's merch, but I just printed a custom like tee that just had that like small on it, like on my chest, just to like, as I said, I was going through something, and I was like, just believe in that, and I put that on my chest, and like actually ran it in this morning for the first time in like a year or two. That official T-shirt, you know, I was like, just needed that little motivation. Yeah. So, and these little mantras you have in your head when I run, I also try and just repeat them when it gets hard. Like too strong, too powerful is one I have, and
it will get hard.
Yeah, when the legs start cramping, you're like, you can, and just if you can do that in running, you can achieve so much in other aspects of your life. And I think, that's the beauty of this running thing, and the beauty of that now that it's cool and trendy and mainstream. It's like more people are getting to experience that, not just the people that grew up in running or athletic families. 100%. And now it's like this person who'd never ever had any connection to physicality or sport is now experiencing this growth within themselves, and like it's gonna rub off on other parts of their life, and then hopefully the whole world just becomes better. That's the goal.
That is the goal.
Everyone improves, and
one crew at a time.
One crew at a time. Yeah.
I love that. No, I absolutely love that. I remember running my first half
Yeah.
which is actually 2 oceans this year.
It's a hard one to start with. Yes. I only ran my first one last year. 2 oceans. It's a terrible. Okay, it's beautiful. Okay, sorry, continue.
No.
But I'm a little bit shocked.
Yeah, that was my first one, and I literally I held everything in me because I wanted to cry so bad because I was just like, this is so painful. I've never run anything more than 15Ks because 15Ks was like the most we trained for.
Yeah.
And so obviously anything more than that was just like honestly pushing your body to like the extreme at this point. And I remember getting to Southern Cross, and everyone always talks about Southern Cross as like the toughest hill, but everyone only ever spoke about it as like a hill. But no one ever speaks about like, okay, cool, it's a hill, but then it goes down and then up again and then sideways, and then it has all these bars.
Sideways. So no one says that camber thing. Yo.
It literally, it gets you when it goes sideways. And I'm just like, this is hectic. And no one talks about that. And I was so mad. I remember being so upset in the middle of that. And I was just like, you know what? If everyone who told me that it was just a hill, because it's more than just a hill. And I remember having to like talk myself into finishing because so many times I wanted to like just, you know what, I'm fine, like just DNF, we're good, we'll try again next year. And I had literally and I was podcasting throughout the race. And then during that episode, like you could just see it, like trying to motivate myself to finish. Like, I need to finish. That's the goal, is to finish. Like whatever my why is, it's gone out the window and I just need to finish this race. And I'm also one of those people who I need to, and I always grew up with the thing of like, whatever you start, you need to finish it.
Yeah.
And you need to finish it strong. So for me, it was just like, even though my why just flew out the window, I had to finish because I started something and I had to finish strong with a smile on my face, even though it was terrible and I wanted to cry. And especially when I got to the cheer zone and I saw all my people, I was just like, do I cry or do I just keep it in?
I mean, I've cried a lot during running. That's why Oakleys are so, shout out to the plug, but they can hide
I need those.
hide your tears. But no, I mean, I think, I've cried, finished because I've cried because I finished. I've cried because of other stuff. But the running just like opens up everything. You just have
literally
2 hours by yourself, pushing yourself. It's like, you go through.
You also meet yourself.
Yeah. Over and over and over again.
And you really get to know yourself on these long runs.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think at the life in general at the moment, or with me and like, cell phones and media, and there's always like the stuff coming in, and it's like, there's pros and cons. That's a whole other conversation. But like running is the one time where when you're actually running, the phone is gone, no one's communicating. You just have to.
There's no overstimulation of anything.
You have to deal with what's important. If there is something deep in your life happening, it's like those are 2 hours by yourself.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's mad scary.
You can't just keep yourself busy. You have to just like, okay, your thoughts are with you. Let's go. But it's powerful.
No, that's true. Thoughts are super powerful. But it's been cool. I've been enjoying running. I've been enjoying experiencing the crew culture across Cape Town. I enjoy your guys' energy. You guys served immaculate vibes. Even at Oceans, I remember I saw you guys and just like how you guys back your people.
We get very excited.
Massive posters. I remember at the marathon last year and I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like, who are you guys?
Yeah, I think it's like what we said. You got to make it interesting, and like even in how we celebrate each other. Because, I mean, especially, as I said, we didn't use that. We used to have like one person running a marathon. That means 95% were cheering for that one guy. We'd be there for like 4 hours, and you're just waiting for that one. But you're like watching 20,000 people pass, but we got one guy, and you got to give him, or them. It was a guy at the time, but everything. And now it's changed, but it's still celebrating that victory, because we all like one of the biggest bridge the gap sayings is like, if you don't run, you cheer, and it's just about celebrating. Because you've all been through, and one day you'll be running, 100%. One day you'll be cheering. It will be your year or not your year, but and you're gonna need those cheers when you are running.
That's
so you're gonna give them your cheers when you aren't.
There's this one. I was talking to Mike. Always talks about like this one word. He always says like camaraderie.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay, cool, I get you, but like I think I never fully understood what he meant when he always spoke about like camaraderie when it comes to like run crews.
Yeah.
And I think actually experiencing that as a whole and actually seeing the different run crews like come together, cheer each other on and like all that kind of stuff. I was just like, oh,
No,
I
it's
get
crazy.
it. I actually understand what you mean. Well, when you talk about camaraderie, and I was just like, okay, cool.
And I mean, it's only like, I think we like a few years behind. Overseas, it's started before us, so it's bigger. So there's like
Yeah.
the crews are bigger. So, but like the checkpoints are like wild. But I mean, here it's starting, and every race now it's
Yeah.
getting bigger, and you're seeing like every crew getting bigger, and it's just like it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember, I don't know which race it was, but I don't think it was a big one, but I ran through our checkpoint, and everyone went. It was actually, I think it was bay to bay this year, and it was just like 10 people on the checkpoint. It was like a small checkpoint by our standards. We ran through it, and the lady running next to me just said, "Are you famous?" Like, I was like, but that's how they make you feel, you know? They make you feel like you're the most, like when you go to that checkpoint, it's like,
It's the best
Yeah.
feeling ever.
yeah, it's just like, whew. And then you have to try and get to the finish line. But,
Once you pass that,
yeah, because that's
so
everything
you
is
sprint
like,
through past your people,
Yeah.
and then once you pass your people, you just walk.
yeah, you're alone. You're like, okay, now I have to do this.
All the hype is gone now.
Especially, Cape Town, I don't know where the checkpoint will be. I think it's usually like around Long Street, it's like 30,
Yeah.
30 something Ks, but there's still 10 to go. So it's, yeah, but it's nice.
thinking
It
about
makes
that
the
loop.
the race shorter because you just, my first finish line is the checkpoint, you know? Get to the checkpoint, be looking good, be
you just
looking
cruise for
strong,
the rest.
and then it's just do a cool down afterwards, you know, get to the finish line.
Just a cool down.
Yeah, but well, not last year. Last year it wasn't a cool down, but this year I'm just gonna be strong. I mean, yeah, it's the checkpoint is like the highlight.
That's
and then,
true.
Then
For
it's
any
the after
race.
party.
Are you guys hosting after party?
We are hosting an after. We will always host an after party, but yeah, we are hosting.
It's going to be big.
Yeah, it's gonna be powerful. We don't
I
actually
love
usually do it for Cape Town. Usually we always do Two Oceans is
Okay.
our main one, but because we relaunching the borough, which is our clubhouse, our new clubhouse, a new location, so we're definitely going to do something there, and yeah, it'll be publicized soon.
Let's
But that whole
go.
weekend is going to be, I think, we're going to have, I'm sure like every crew will be doing something cool and
Yeah.
sort of celebrating each other and doing stuff, and usually our history shows that our after parties are usually the best, and everyone usually comes to that one at the end of it.
Talk your shit. I
so-
love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not the best runners. The 9-4, although we're getting
you guys
we're getting fast now.
I was about to say you guys
Yeah.
are fast.
I'm not sure what's happened, but somehow we are getting faster. But
All those beers.
yeah, something's happening. I mean, we literally have a trophy that says slowest crew that we won in Berlin in like 2016, because we were like, people couldn't believe that we traveled to Berlin and then we ran that slow. They were like, what is, like, they just couldn't, like, why don't you just do that at home? But it's a little like, it's a little sheep or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we have this trophy. It says
It's motivation
slowest
to
crew.
get better.
I just said we'd like to take our time because we travel this way. We don't want to rush through it was a half marathon. We want to take our
Why?
time.
Enjoy the views.
Yeah,
Enjoy
exactly.
the people.
It's first time we can see Berlin. We can see the sights.
Exactly.
But the people couldn't understand why you'd come to Berlin to run. Like everyone goes to Berlin to run fast. And it was
Nah, not
fast for
us.
us, but we didn't tell them that. We were like, it's the PB. It's 2 hours. Come on.
It's a great time.
But yeah, I think the after party's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be nice to celebrate everyone, the 9-4, all the other crews that have like done a lot of. Yeah, it's cool. A lot of work this year. I can see like
Yeah.
people have been putting. Yeah, it'll be your first marathon. So we do have some stairs in our clubhouse, which is going to be interesting.
You will be crawling up those stairs.
But yeah, I guess you can get through a night of pain with alcoholic beverages or Miprodol or whatever whatever your. I don't actually drink anymore, so I can't say alcohol, but because I'm also worried about myself.
Miprodol.
I don't know what you need, but I don't do drugs or drinks, so I'm like, I don't have those things, but there's substances
you?
that can
Do
get you
you?
through one night and you'll wake up in more pain on Monday, but that's
Just run through it.
that's
and you'll be
Monday's
good to go.
problem. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. But thank you so much
Cool.
for coming on.
Thank
for
you.
sharing
Yeah,
about 9-4s and the cool stories. I am looking forward to seeing you guys on the road.
Yeah.
I know our paths sometimes cross now. With training, we sometimes see each other on the road, which is cool.
Everyone's on the road now, which is amazing. It's
That's
like,
true.
You're just like,
That's
yeah.
true. That's so true. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see you on the road at Cape Town Marathon.
See you at the
Seeing the
checkpoint.
crews. See you at the checkpoint.
Yeah, we'll make sure we're looking out for you. With our 3 people that aren't running. We talked all the stuff about the checkpoint. Now we have to
No one's
organize
gonna
it.
be there.
It's fine. I don't know. We'll have a song that plays or something. No, it's going to be great.
I love that. It's going to be cool. I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited for you. Your first one. It's going to be amazing. You're going to do it. It's going to be special.
We're just aiming to finish.
That's all you need to do.
That's all I want. I just want a medal.
Yeah.
That's if I can get a medal and be like, okay, cool, I've done the Cape Town Marathon, I'm good.
You have to get a medal and you have to make it to the after party. Those are the two rules. If you don't make it to the after party, because we're getting a bit more serious, I told everyone, I don't care if you get a PB. If you don't make it to the after party, it doesn't count. That's the most important thing. Don't want to say you ran so hard, now you can't come to the after party. And you can't leave early to the after party, like leave from the after party early because you.
True.
So the PB is only official. If you stay, at least sing 3 songs at the karaoke after party or whatever it is. I don't know. But yeah, so I'll see you on the road and in the club.
Cool. This is how I get myself into trouble. People just say the wildest shit on you. I'm just like, okay, cool. And then I find myself there. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing about your story.
Thank you. Yeah, see you soon.
Why are you running?
This episode is brought to you by SoundSpeed, the sound specialists.
Running.